Stop explaining yourself. Read that again. Stop explaining yourself. Because every time you feel the need to explain who you are, why you did something, why you made a decision, why you said no, why you walked away, why you changed, why you refused to tolerate disrespect, you are handing over your power to people who never earned it. Think about it. Why do you explain? You explain because you want understanding. You explain because you want approval. You explain because you want people to see your intentions. But here's the truth most people never learn. People do not judge you by your explanations. They judge you by your position. A weak explanation sounds like weakness. A strong explanation is often unnecessary. The lion does not explain why he hunts. The king does not explain every command. The mountain does not explain why it stands taller than everything around it. It simply exists. And because it exists with certainty, the world accepts it. The problem is that most people spend their lives defending themselves in a courtroom that does not matter. Every day they stand before invisible judges. Friends, family, co-workers, strangers, people online. People who don't pay their bills. People who don't carry their burdens. People who don't live their lives. Yet somehow those are the people whose approval they desperately seek. So they explain. They justify. They defend. They argue. And with every explanation, their authority shrinks. Because confidence speaks once, insecurity speaks forever. Look at the powerful people you know. Do they spend hours convincing everyone? No. They state their position. They make their move. And they keep walking. Meanwhile, the average person writes essays trying to convince people who already decided not to understand them. Let me tell you something important. Not everyone deserves access to your reasons. Not everyone deserves a seat inside your mind. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Sometimes no is enough. Sometimes silence is enough. Sometimes walking away is enough. The moment you understand this, your entire life changes. Because suddenly you stop chasing validation. And when validation loses its grip on you, freedom begins. The reason explaining yourself feels so exhausting is because deep down, you are fighting a battle you can never win. You think if you just find the right words, everyone will finally understand. They won't. Some people misunderstand you on purpose. Some people twist your words on purpose. Some people need you to remain guilty because your confidence threatens them. No amount of explaining will change that. You cannot reason someone out of a position they never reasoned themselves into. You cannot convince people determined to misunderstand you, and you should not waste your energy trying. Imagine carrying a bucket full of water through the desert. Every unnecessary explanation is a hole in that bucket. A little energy leaks out. A little confidence leaks out. A little certainty leaks out. Until one day you wonder why you're exhausted. You're exhausted because you've been spending years proving yourself to people who were never qualified to judge you. Stop. Close the holes. Protect your energy. Protect your attention. Protect your peace. One of the most dangerous habits in life is over-explaining. Over-explaining is fear wearing a mask, fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being disliked, fear of being judged, and fear makes people talk too much. Watch what happens when someone becomes nervous. They start adding details nobody asked for. They start defending actions nobody questioned. They start filling silence because silence feels uncomfortable. But silence is where power lives. Silence creates mystery. Silence creates confidence. Silence forces people to think. Silence forces people to reveal themselves. The person who controls silence controls the conversation. That is why powerful people are comfortable saying less. They know words are expensive. Every word should serve a purpose. Every sentence should carry weight. If your words do not add value, silence is stronger. Most people fear silence because they think silence makes them look weak. The opposite is true. Silence is difficult. Silence requires self-control. Silence requires certainty. silence requires strength. Anybody can react. Anybody can argue. Anybody can defend themselves endlessly. Very few people can remain calm while being misunderstood. That takes discipline. That takes mastery. That takes power. Think about the moments you regret most. How many of them came from silence? Very few. Most regrets come from saying too much, explaining too much, trusting too much, revealing too much. When emotions rise, words become dangerous. People reveal weaknesses. People reveal insecurities. People reveal information that others later use against them. The wise understand this. They speak carefully. They reveal strategically. They never give away more than necessary. Because they understand something crucial. Information is power. And power should never be handed out freely. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He knew that perception often matters more than explanation. People judge what they see, not what you intended, not what you meant, not what you wished, what they see. That is why your actions must speak louder than your explanations. If you want respect, stop announcing your plans. Execute them. If you want success, stop talking about it. Build it. If you want confidence, stop telling people who you are. Become that person. Results are the strongest argument in existence. Results silence critics. Results eliminate doubt. Results speak every language. And unlike explanations, results cannot be debated. The world does not reward intentions. The world rewards execution. So stop explaining your dreams. Work. Stop explaining your goals. Work. Stop explaining your future. Work. Then let the results do the talking. There is another reason people explain too much. They are afraid of being disliked. But here is a lesson that changes everything. If you try to be liked by everyone, you will eventually be respected by no one. Respect and approval are not the same thing. Approval is temporary. Respect is earned. Approval depends on other people. Respect begins with yourself. When you start living according to your principles, some people will disagree. Good. That means you are thinking for yourself. If everybody approves of your decisions, chances are you are living for them instead of yourself. The strongest people accept that criticism is part of success. The moment you rise, criticism rises with you. The moment you become different, people become uncomfortable. The moment you stop seeking permission, people start questioning you. Let them. You do not need unanimous approval to move forward. You only need conviction. You only need purpose. You only need the courage to continue. Remember this: every minute spent explaining yourself is a minute not spent improving yourself. And improvement is the ultimate response. Someone doubts you? Improve. Someone criticizes you? Improve. Someone misunderstands you? Improve. Someone laughs at your vision? Improve. Your growth is the answer. Your discipline is the answer. Your success is the answer. Not another argument. Not another justification. Not another explanation. The world is filled with people talking about what they deserve. Very few become the person who deserves it. Become that person. Let your character speak. Let your actions speak. Let your consistency speak. And let your silence speak when necessary. Because there is a different kind of confidence that emerges when you stop explaining yourself. A calm confidence. A quiet confidence. A dangerous confidence. The kind that does not need applause. The kind that does not need validation. The kind that does not need permission. That confidence comes from knowing exactly who you are. When you know who you are, criticism loses its power. When you know who you are, gossip loses its power. When you know who you are, misunderstandings lose their power. Because your identity is no longer determined by outside voices. It is determined by your own standards. And once that happens, you become difficult to control. Because manipulation depends on insecurity. Manipulation depends on self-doubt. Manipulation depends on the need for approval. Remove those things, and manipulators lose their leverage. That is why people who know themselves are so powerful. They cannot be easily shaken. They cannot be easily pressured. They cannot be easily controlled. They stand firm. They move with purpose. They speak with precision. And when necessary, they remain silent. So starting today, stop explaining every decision. Stop defending every choice. Stop arguing with people committed to misunderstanding you. Stop seeking approval from people who have not earned the right to influence your life. Trust yourself more. Trust your judgment more. Trust your path more. The people who matter will understand eventually, and the people who don't understand were never going to understand anyway. Your mission is not to convince everyone. Your mission is to become stronger. Your mission is to become wiser. Your mission is to become disciplined. Your mission is to become the person you were meant to be, and that journey requires energy. Do not waste that energy explaining yourself. Use it to build. Use it to grow. Use it to dominate your weaknesses. Use it to create a life so powerful that explanations become unnecessary. Because at the end of the day, nobody remembers the person who argued the most. Nobody remembers the person who justified every action. Nobody remembers the person who begged to be understood. They remember the person who stood firm. They remember the person who remained calm. They remember the person who moved with certainty. They remember the person whose actions spoke louder than words. Be that person. Walk your path. Make your decisions. Accept being misunderstood. Accept being criticized. Accept being disliked. And keep moving forward anyway. Because true power begins the moment you stop explaining yourself and start becoming undeniable.